Importing data into Python. Welcome back. We've got a whole course in front of us, and a big chunk will be devoted to pre-processing, as this is one of the most important steps in modeling. First, we'll import the two Python libraries we will need for now, NumPy and Pandas. Throughout the course, we will gradually import the others when they're needed. We can import NumPy as NP and Pandas as PD. As we already know, these two are quite conventional. We have all our data in this .csv file. Now we will load it into a new variable called Lone Data Backup using the Pandas method readCSV. Okay, let's run the code. When we run the command, we get a warning telling us that the columns in the data file different data types. This is natural, but keep in mind that we have to investigate the data types of the different columns later. The data from the CSV file will be loaded in the Lone Data Backup variable. The Pandas method, pd.readCSV, automatically loads the data into a Pandas data frame, an object that is very convenient for storing data for all kinds of manipulations and analysis. It is always a good practice to store a copy of our data before making any changes. That way, if we make a mistake when editing or deleting data, we can go back and start again without loading the actual CSV. This is why we named the initial data frame Lone Data Backup. Let's now create a copy, which we can pre-process without touching the originally loaded data. We can do that by creating a new variable, Lone Data, and assigning a copy of Lone Data Backup to it. To create a copy of Lone Data Backup, we apply the copy method to it. Alright, to see what is contained in that data frame, we simply type its name, Lone Data, and run it. And here it is. It looks almost identical to the CSV file we opened a while ago in Excel. Awesome! Now you can see here that not all columns and not all rows of the data frame are displayed. Fortunately, there is a way to make Pandas display all columns of a data frame. Just type PD, options, display, max columns equal to none, and run it. It sets the display options to show all columns of all objects you run here on after. Alternatively, you can set a specific number of columns you want to see. Okay, let's run the Lone's data frame again. Here it is. And we can see all the columns now. Let's take a look at the few more useful commands. A quicker way to eyeball the data frame is by displaying its head or tail. These methods give you the first few and the last few rows of the data frame respectively. It's also practical to be able to explore all the column names at once. You can do this by typing Lone Data columns values. Remember that when we imported the data file, we got a warning that the different columns have different data types. It's very important to know what data type each of the variables stored in the columns of the data frame is. Applying the info method to the data frame will provide this information. Here we can see, for example, that the funded amount is an integer, the annual income is float, a decimal number, purpose of the loan is object, which is the Pandas data frame data type for text strings, and so on. Apparently, there are some additional manipulations we have to do with some of the variables in order to get them ready for analysis. For example, some continuous variables like term and employment length are not numeric as expected, but strings. We are going to explore this and other pre-processing issues in the next classes. See you in our next lecture, and thanks for watching.